China, meanwhile, has accused the United States of damaging the peace and stability of the Taiwan Strait. Beijing has said that it opposes any official US-Taiwan talks. This is senior former US officials have arrived in Taipei for a trip to signal President Joe Biden's commitment to Taiwan and also to its democracy. The former US Senator Chris Dodd and former Deputy Secretaries of the State Richard Armitage and James Steinberg arrived in Taiwan on a trip that has angered Beijing. The three arrived in an unmarked private jet that landed at the Taipei International Airport. The former US officials were met off the aircraft by Taiwanese Foreign Minister Joseph Wu and also the top US diplomat in Taipei, Brent Christensen. They are now due to meet Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen on Thursday, even as the former US officials landed in Taipei. Beijing has issued a warning to America. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson has urged the Americans to observe the One China principle to avoid further damaging the peace and stability of the Taiwan Straits.
China firmly opposes any type of official contacts between the US and Taiwan. This is China's clear and consistent position. China has already made stern representations to the US side over its sending of personnel to Taiwan.
China has also urged the United States to not send any mistaken signals to what Beijing calls as Taiwan's independence separatist forces to avoid further damaging the US-China relations.
With President Tsai and of our trip.
We urge the US to truly observe the One China principle and the three communiques and immediately stop any type of official contact between the US and Taiwan, cautiously deal with the issues related to Taiwan and not send any mistaken signals to Taiwan independence separatist forces to avoid further damaging US-China relations and the peace and stability of the Taiwan Strait.
The tensions have soared in the Taiwan Strait in recent days. On Monday, 25 Chinese Air Force aircrafts, including fighter jets and nuclear-capable bombers, had entered in Taiwan's air defense identification zone. This was the largest such incursion reported by Taipei so far. China termed the incursion by its Air Force jets as a combat drill. It is important to note that the US Navy regularly conducts freedom of navigation exercises in the Taiwanese Straits. Earlier, Washington had issued guidelines that will enable US officials to meet more freely with officials from Taiwan. And this was a step by the Biden administration to show US support for Taiwan's democracy. And the move has angered China, which considers the territory as its own following the Biden administration's move. China has advised America to, quote-unquote, not play with fire. Despite the standoff over Taiwan, engagement between the United States and the Chinese administration will continue on issues such as climate change. The China's special climate envoy will be meeting with his US counterpart John Kerry in Shanghai sometime later this week and will also exchange views on key United Nations climate conference. John Kerry will be seeking to find common ground on climate change with China, and the two will be exchanging views on COP26, which is the United Nations 2021 climate change conference to be held in Scotland in the month of November.
Following China's invitation, the special climate envoy for the US President John Kerry will visit China from April 14 to 17th. During this time, China's special climate envoy Zhai Zhenhua will hold meetings with Kerry in Shanghai and will exchange views on issues including US-China cooperation on climate change and the 26th United Nations Climate Change Conference.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.